Hello everyone, welcome to Storytime. I'm Miss Davena, and if you are joining us for the first time, welcome. And you can always find our recordings of our story times on our library website by going to unioncountylibraries.org, click on the events calendar, find the green Preschool Storytime tab, and when you click on the date of the episode that you want to watch, it'll take you to the playlist link on our YouTube channel, and it'll take you directly to that day's date. But on that playlist, you can also access all our previously recorded preschool story times. So that's an easy way to find us. It's also a place on our each story time in the YouTube playlist on that YouTube day, that recording. In the description box below, there's it kind of looks like a V, which is an arrow without the line. If you click on that, that'll drop down and it'll give you links for activities that go along with the day's topic and theme. You can also find my email address there as well. So if you have questions or you have pictures of your little one playing along and answering and singing along with us, you can always send that to me. I love to see that feedback. But we're hoping to very soon be meeting in person. In the meantime, let's go ahead and get started with our story time for today. We'll start with our hello song. So everybody help me sing our hello song. Hello everybody, and how are you? How are you? Hello everybody, and how are you? Again. Hello everybody, and how are you? How are you? Hello everybody, and how are you? So how are you today? I hope you're having a wonderful summer, and I know it's not technically summer yet. That doesn't happen till the 21st of November, of June, which is next week. But the weather is very summer-like, so I'm enjoying it. I'm really enjoying the opportunity to be outside more and to have more sunshine and more daylight. And one of the things that we enjoy in Pennsylvania are the different habitats and different areas of wildlife and topography or land, or so we have a lot of lakes, we have rivers, we have fields and farms and woods. So there's all different mountains, hills, a lot of different areas that have different habitats for animals to live in. So if you can tell me what a habitat is, raise your hand. So what do you think? That's a really good guess. So my first book that I have for us today is called Habitats, and it's outdoor science, and it's by Sonya Newland, and there's experiments and activities that go along in this book. So this is a book that we have here in the library. And what kind of book would we call this? It has real, true things in it. What do you think, Shane? Right, this is our nonfiction book. And if you look at the spine, it has the numbers on it. And it's a new book. So this is one of the new books available in the library. So it has a lot of things about animals and their habitats. So what are habitats? Habitats are the natural places where plants and animals live. So there are all different kinds of habitats around the world, and they provide animals with food and water. So food, water, shelter, or something to protect them from the elements, or like rain and bad weather. And a habitat can be really big, like a desert, or really small, like a leaf or a drop of water. Believe it or not, a drop of water is a habitat for some types of animals. So there are all different kinds of habitats, and they all have different features. Do you know what the word feature means? What do you think, Molly? Right, a feature is something that it tells, you can use to describe a person. So you might say that Miss Davena has short hair and my hair is red and my eyes are blue. Those are my features. Those are things about me that are distinctive and describe me. So my hair is red, my eyes are blue. Those are things that describe me, and different habitats have different things that describe them. So there's forests and deserts, woodlands, because a woodland and a forest is not exactly the same thing. And I will hold that up there so you can see all the different ones. There's meadows and grasslands. So a grassland is different than a meadow, and they look different. There's the coast, like along the seashore. Then there's a rainforest, which is different than a regular forest. And there's the ocean. So you might be along the coast, but it's next to the ocean, but it's not under the water in the ocean. So there's all different kinds of habitats. There's even things called microhabitats. And a microhabitat is a small habitat within inside of a big one. So remember we said you have the ocean, which is a lot of what? A lot of water. And there's little drops of water, and there's different areas in the ocean that support different areas of life. So there's all different kinds of habitats in bigger areas. So a patch of earth and grass in a meadow is a habitat, and a microhabitat might have different features than the bigger habitat that it exists within. So for instance, an old log is a microhabitat, and certain plants and insects may live in and on it. And some habitats are changing. That means if it changes, it might not be enough food or shelter for all the animals that live there. And that means that they may have to compete with each other for these resources. And there are other problems too. Some animals only eat certain plants, and if those plants are destroyed, like by a fire or by new construction, or maybe a flood sometimes changes the area. We had a flood back in 2011 that changed the way that the creek moved through the area, and it changed the entire area that went along that creek bank. If those plants are destroyed, the animals that eat them might also die out. So there's a lot of things that can help. So, and garbage that isn't thrown away properly can also harm the environment and can mess up the local habitat. So the way you take care of your trash, even just throwing it in the regular garbage can and not leaving it on the ground outside, helps with your environment and helps the habitat and the animals that might live there and are dependent upon it. So what are certain things that live where? So there are different kinds of habitats, and the features of a habitat might include how much sunshine it gets, the amount of space or shelter that it provides. So if you're in a desert, you're not going to have as many trees to provide shelter. So there's different animals that maybe an animal in Alaska can't handle all the sunshine that is available in the desert, in the heat. So they wouldn't live there, or they wouldn't survive there because they don't have the right kind of shelter. Or what's the soil like? How much water is there? There's more water available easily in a rainforest than there would be in a grassland. And how the plants grow there. So there are some animals. What kind of animal is that? Yeah, that's a bear. Some animals, bigger animals, usually live in larger habitats because they need more food and water and space. So if it's a larger animal, it might be in a larger habitat. So if it's hot or cold or wet or dry, some animals like cool, damp places like a frog. Some like dry, warm places like a lion. Oh, and look at that one. Others can survive in places with hardly any water. What is that? That's a camel, isn't it? And then other animals help their habitats in many ways. Worms turn over the soil, letting in air, which helps plants grow. So if you've got a lot of worms in your garden, that's really good for the plants in your garden. And cockroaches eat dead plants and put the nutrients from them back into the earth. Bats and birds spread seeds through their droppings or their scat, which makes new plants. So when we were doing our trail walk, we saw some droppings on the trail that looked like it had a lot of seeds in it. And if that is allowed to get into the ground and go down into the ground, new plants might grow from that. Elephants have big ears, which they flap to keep cool. See his big ears? And the polar bears have thick fur to keep them warm in Arctic air. And they have a lot of other things that help them survive in the Arctic. Ducks have webbed feet to help them swim in their watery habitat. And the color and the pattern of a leopard's fur helps it hide in the grass. And see that? So there's all different things that animals and their habitats need to help work together so that they can survive and thrive and live their best life. So when you look around you, how is our habitat suited for humans to live in? So that's something you can think about. Where you live, what are things that help make it better for you with shelter and food and water and things to do? There's all kinds of things that help you live in your habitat. So that is my book about habitats. And this has got a lot of other interesting information and activities and all kinds of experiments that you can do with your mom or dad or special grown-up, or maybe even a bigger brother or sister can help you with it. There's lots of fun things to do in this book. So my song that I have for us now is called Animal Houses, and it's sung to the tune of Old Smoky. And I'm gonna turn so I can read the words because I don't know the words off. And we're gonna sing it through 2 times. And I don't expect you to know the words to this because it's a new song for us. But it's just a fun song because it tells us all about animal homes or their habitats. And you can always rewind this and sing it through a couple of times if you want to. On top of a mountain or under the sea, there are so many places where creatures may be. Alone in a desert or grouped on a farm or tucked in a tree trunk away from all harm. On bright sunny grasslands or in a dark cave, in jungles and forests where all must be brave. On ice in the Arctic or hold underground, there are so many places where creatures are found. And we can look at this and we can see there's all kinds of different animals and different habitats. So on top of a mountain, what's an animal that might be on top of a mountain? Yes, an eagle or a mountain goat, right? What about under the sea? A crab, yes, or a dolphin, right? How about alone in the desert? You might find a camel or even a scorpion. Or what about on a farm? We have lots of farms around us here in Pennsylvania, right? There's sheep and goats and cows and chickens. What about in a tree trunk? What might be inside a tree trunk? There might be squirrels or some birds inside tree trunks. Sometimes there's bugs in the tree trunks, and it helps protect them from the elements or from the weather. On bright sunny grasslands or in a dark cave. What might live in a dark cave? Right, bats. Or in jungles and forests, there might be panthers or monkeys or, yes, or it flies, has lots of colors. Toucan, yeah, toucan's a good one. Or parrots, right. And what about up in the Arctic? What lives up in the Arctic? Yes, an Arctic white fox, Shane, you're right, that is true. And maybe a polar bear or, I don't know, we'll have to see. There might be walruses or fish. There are fish up there too, but the fish need the cold water and some need warm water, so they wouldn't be in the Arctic. There's so many places that creatures are found. So we'll sing that song one more time again, and it's called Animal Homes. So there's animal homes everywhere. On top of a mountain or under a sea, there are so many places where creatures may be. Alone in a desert or grouped on a farm, or tucked in a tree trunk away from all harm. On bright sunny grasslands or in a dark cave, in jungles and forests where all must be brave. On ice in the Arctic or holed underground, there are so many places where creatures are found. And what might be underground? What do you think? You tell me. Right, Augie? Worms are underground, sometimes snakes, yes. Moles, yes. Chipmunks, groundhogs. There's lots of things that might live underground. Very good. So I have a book called Welcome Home Bear, and this is by Il Sung Na, and it's a book about animal habitats, and this bear is trying to go home. So we're going to be reading about it. Every morning he wakes up and he looks around at the same old stuff, and he's getting kind of bored. So he decides to go on a trip and find a new home. So we're gonna hear about his adventures. Every morning, Bear woke up in the same green forest under the same blue sky. One day he thought, I will find a new home. Uh-oh. So he climbed up to see Bird, but her nest was so high up in the trees. Wow, that's way up. Look at his face. He looks a little scared, doesn't he? Might be a little high for him. Oh my goodness, where's he going there? He dug down to visit Mole, but it was so stuffy underground and the dirt got in his nose and he couldn't breathe. So he's like, I'm not gonna be under here, I don't fit. So he went to see Goat, but standing on her steep cliff made him whoa, 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 dizzy, looking down. Oh my goodness, look at him here. He's like, oh, I can't do this, I'm scared. So he decided to swim with that octopus, who was surprised to see him, and uh-oh, what do octopuses do? Uh-oh. It was too deep, and when he scared octopus, he squirted him with ink. So the water was way too deep for Bear, because he couldn't breathe underwater. So he found a polar bear in the puffins. Do you think he could live with the polar bear? What color is the polar bear? He's white. And what color is regular bear? He's black. But the snow was cold under his paws. Because this bear does what in the wintertime? Right, he does. He sleeps or he hibernates. So he doesn't go out in the snow. And the birds here and the polar bear, they do live in the snow and they're used to the cold. And look at that. What color is snow? The snow's white and his fur is white, but Bear's fur is black. That means it would be easier for other animals to hunt him. So he went to see Camel. But now, ooh, ouch, ooh, ooh, ha, 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 ooh, ha, ha, where his paws were too hot in the desert sand. Oh my goodness. So, he paid a visit to orangutan. And where does orangutan live? Look at it. It's in the woods, in the trees. But what's coming down? It's raining a lot. So where would you have, yes, very good, JJ. He's in the rainforest. But it rained, and it rained, and it rained. Kind of like it did earlier this spring. It rained so much that Bear was starting to get moldy. Uh-oh, look at this. Look at his face here. Where is he playing? Yes, he joined the hippopotamus in the mud. But the mud was everywhere, and Bear didn't like being in the mud. The hippopotamuses liked being in the mud, but Bear didn't. Oh, look at Bear's face. Does he look happy or sad? He looks sad. So after visiting all of his friends, Bear was tired, and he wanted to be somewhere that was not too high, not too stuffy, not too steep, not too deep, not too cold, hot, rainy, or muddy. Where do you think he could find that place? Right. Very good. And he knew just where he wanted to be. Back home in his own habitat. The end. So his home was in a place that was just right for him. And even though his friends had houses and places that were just right for them, and he could visit, it wasn't the right place for him to live in because it wasn't set up to help him live his best life. So that's why Bear went back to his own habitat. And it was just right for him. So this song is called Who's Home? It's sung to the tune of Camptown Races, and moms and dads and special grown-ups will know what song that is. And it's called Who's Home? And it goes H-A-B-I-T-A-T. So H-A-B-I-T-A-T. H-A-B-I-T-A-T, habitat, habitat. H-A-B-I-T-A-T, a place where animals live. In a lake or in a tree, on the land or in the sea. H-A-B-I-T-A-T, a place where animals live. And we can, I don't know if Miss Davena can spell it with her fingers and sing it at the same time, but we can try. Ready? H-A-B-I-T-A-T, habitat, habitat. H-A-B-I-T-A, T, a place where animals live. In a lake or in a tree, on the land or in the sea. H-A-B-I-T-A-T, a place where animals live. Yeah, you guys did a great job. Thank you for helping me. We can sing it one more time. Ready? And we won't slow it down for Miss Davena to spell, but you could practice finger spelling with it. So H, so if you take your two pink fingers and put them up and then put your thumb in front of them and turn them sideways, that's H, A, B, I, T. So you take your thumb and you hug it with these two fingers. A, T, H, A, B, I, T, A, T, habitat. It's where what? Where animals live, and animals. H-A-B-I-T-A-T, habitat, habitat. H-A-B-I-T-A-T, a place where animals live. In a lake or in a tree, on the land or in the sea, Habitat, a place where animals live. Very good. Thank you. That was wonderful. You guys did such a great job. So what is a habitat? Right, it's a place where animals live. So there's all different kinds of habitats. We have oceans and lakes and forests and woodlands and grasslands and meadows and oceans and rainforest, and what's really hot is the desert, or really cold might be the Arctic. So there's all kinds of habitats, where places where animals live, and different sizes of animals can live in different sizes of habitats. And you might have smaller habitats inside of bigger habitats. So there's all different kinds of places where animals live. So you can go out and look in your backyard and see how many habitats you might be able to find just in your yard, which where you live is your habitat. So your house is in your neighborhood, which is in your town, which is in your county, in your state, and that's in the country. So there's, or the area, the region, the Northeast. So there's all different smaller habitats within bigger and bigger and bigger habitats. Pretty cool. So you have a wonderful week, and continue to learn about animals and habitats, and explore your habitat around where you live, and in the park maybe when you go to visit the park, or you might go to the beach or wherever, and figure out what's the same and what's different from where you live. Have a wonderful day. We will sing our goodbye song, and then I will see you next week at our preschool story time. Ready? Here we go. We wave goodbye like this. We wave goodbye like this. We wave goodbye to all our friends. We wave goodbye like this. We clap our hands like this. We clap our hands like this. We clap our hands for all our friends. We clap our hands like this. Yay! You guys did such an awesome job. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you next time. Bye.